right, welcome everyone. I call the February 21st, 2024 Board of Commissioners meeting to order. It's always nice to see veteran Don Bradley and Sister Monica to lead us in the Pledge and Invocation.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This being President's Week, I thought I would use a prayer from George Washington. Almighty God, we make our earnest prayer that Thou wilt keep the United States in Thy holy protection, that Thou wilt incline the hearts of the citizens to cultivate a spirit of subordination and obedience to government and entertain a brotherly affection and love for one another and for their fellow citizens of the United States at large. And finally, that Thou wilt most graciously be pleased to dispose us all to do justice, to love mercy, and demean ourselves with that charity, humility, and pacific temper of mind, which were the characteristics of the divine author of our blessed religion, without a humble imitation of whose example in these things we can never hope to be a happy nation. Grant our supplications, we beseech Thee. Amen.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 2 on the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the February 7th, 2024 Board of Commissioners meeting as submitted.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries. We'll turn it over to Greg Munsky for his report.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you. I just want to go through and highlight a couple of the items on the agenda that you'll be approving today, or voting on today, I should say. Items 1 through 4 on the agenda, there are a number of facilities-related repairs that are on the agenda for you guys to consider. A couple of the items, the roof at PVR is in need of repair, so we put that out to bid. Received back.
PVR stands for Pleasant Valley Road, in case you don't know.
Pleasant Valley Road building. We actually got a very favorable bid back from that, below where we had budgeted, which we're very pleased about. Repair also to the emergency management building, 911 building. That roof is also in need of repair. And then there are a number of items on there for masonry work at the admin center here, out in front, both on the facade of the building and the steps leading up to it. All of those combined fall within our capital improvement budget. So none of those are beyond what was budgeted for repairs. We also have new chairs for the jury room, which was also a budgeted expense as well. The York County Hazmat team is asking.
Which number?
Oh, sorry. Number 6. The York County Hazmat team through EMS is requesting the purchase of a device that's going to assist in detecting harmful radiation at any potential radiological incidents. This is to replace an outdated device that's no longer repairable. It's partially covered through grant funding, and the remainder of the purchase will be through the Hazmat capital purchase account. With a nuclear power plant in our county, we are required to have these capabilities in order to protect against potential radiological threats. Number 9 is the CVB memo, and I am going to invite Laura Wagner, President of Explore York, to come up and speak to that. She wouldn't mind.
And CVB stands for County Convention Visitors Bureau.
Thank you. Yeah, we do tend to talk in letters, alphabet soup. So my name is Laura Wagner. I'm with the York County Convention and Visitors Bureau. We more recently are doing business as Explore York, just to acknowledge the fact that we are a tourist promotion agency, York County's official tourist promotion agency. And our goal is to bring that visitor and all of their money into York County. Every year, thousands of people are visiting York County and our communities within. They're experiencing the rich diversity that our community has to offer. Historic sites, we host numerous sporting events, hobbyist groups. We've got lots of arts and culture throughout York County as well. So the list really does go on. Tourism in York County is big business. Over $1 billion in visitor spending here within little old York County, which I always like to promote that's actually more than our neighbors over in Adams County with that big, huge battlefield. That's more than they bring in according to our state research. Lots of jobs, nearly 8,000 jobs are related to tourism in York County as well. We run a tourism grant program that was instituted started in 2017, and to date has awarded over $5 million to all different businesses and events that take place here in York County. So just this past year alone, we supported the Keystone State Games. We have a new Civil War Trails project that should be unveiled here within the next couple of months, hopefully. The Eichelberger Performing Arts Center over in Hanover, the Goodrich Freedom Center here downtown, along with the Underground Railroad Museum, the History Center, and this is just a small handful of the area businesses and attractions that we touch. We're a staff of 14 full-time dedicated professionals. Marketing is obviously focused on our website and that digital advertising component. We partner with our state and with our region, with our neighbors, Lancaster, Gettysburg, Hershey-Harrisburg, to promote all that the destination has to offer. We're active on social media. We've got, mentioned the cultural trails. We've got to focus on Black history, women-owned businesses, military and veterans as well. We dedicate we have a sales staff that's dedicated to bringing the group tourism business in. So I mentioned sports, the sports market, there's volleyball, basketball tournaments, wrestling events that we host. That accounts for $25 million in economic impact within York County just last year alone. We're focused on reaching out to the international traveler, which is a new market for us this year. We've got a new augmented reality trail that's coming down the pipeline this summer, a new snack food trail. We've got so much going on, and I was told I could stand here and talk as long as I needed to, but I don't need to talk for hours and hours, but I feel like I could. I want to thank the commissioners, and I'm here with Glenn Smith, who is on our board of directors today. I want to thank everybody for their continued partnership, for their support in all aspects of what we do. Today, we're here to push this MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding, for how that 5% occupancy tax that the county collects, how that is to be distributed and spent for the next 3 years. But beyond that, beyond just the support of working with this MOU, we, Commissioner Hoke, Julie Wheeler, President Commissioner Wheeler, excuse me, both have served on our board and are serving on our board. Genuinely appreciate that. The events that you come to support, letters of support, all kinds of good stuff. So I appreciate your partnership in tourism in York County. Thank you.
Thanks. So I'm just going to add a few comments. I think Laura spoke about the many reasons why it's essential to invest in tourism-related efforts across our county. Really, Explore York is more than just a tourism agency for visitors. It also promotes initiatives that improve the quality of life for our residents here in York County. And at the end of the day, tourism is economic development, and economic development is job creation. So with this new agreement that's on the agenda today, we really are investing in the future of York County and the growth of our local economy for the benefit of all who call York County their home. Additionally, I wanted to mention, Laura mentioned the hotel occupancy tax. All of that revenue from the hotel occupancy tax is going directly to York County initiatives, York County nonprofits to support York County jobs. Additionally, there are mechanisms that are built into the Memorandum of Understanding to ensure that the organizations that are receiving funding, whether it's a direct allocation or through the grant program, are held accountable. So I think that it's really important. Even though the money is coming from hotel tax, it's still money. We should be good fiscal stewards of that, and we should ensure that those who are receiving those funds are being purposeful and thoughtful in how that money gets spent with their respective organizations. So I also want to thank Laura and the CVB Board, Convention Visitors Bureau Board. It's been a pleasure working with them and collaborating with them, and certainly glad that we're at the point today where it's on the agenda and we'll take action on it. So, thank you.
And I'd just like to make a comment, too, that I was on the CV board for, I think it was 16 years, and President Commissioner Wheeler is on now, which they're a great organization. I was here when we instituted and went to the governor's office and asked for the hotel tax to be raised from 3% to 5%, which actually brought it up to about, I think, $3.8 million maybe, might be coming in a year. Okay, thank you. So you guys do a great job, and I just want to commend you, and it was an honor to be on your board for so many years.
Sure. I would also echo the commendations. You guys have done an excellent job over the years, and we appreciate the cooperation. You know, ensuring over the next 3 years that this grant program will be supporting many programs across different sectors of our community is very important. Highlighting the historical value that we bring to the nation and also the manufacturing roots that we have is very, very important to us. So thank you very much.
Okay.
All right. The last couple items that I wanted to highlight on the agenda would be items 13 through 15 relating to our voters and elections. The first of them is in relation to the purchase of paper rolls and CF cards for the ICP machines, which stands for ImageCast Precinct. These are standard purchases for elections, obviously paper rolls for printing, and the CF cards are, they're not purchased every year, but there's a certain amount of times that we generally can use them, so we're purchasing those for both the primary and the general election. The second item would be for the rental units for our voting machines. With the expectation of a higher turnout in the general election in particular, we're looking to add to our complement of machines to help out some of those precincts that see more voters come through, to hopefully reduce some of the wait times and some of the lines that maybe have been experienced in the past. Those machines will be included in our pre-lat, which is our logic testing to make sure that they are obviously accurate and keeping accurate counts. So they will be treated as the same as all of our other machines, and will go through the same rigorous processes that we put those through.
I would suspect for that they did some analysis on voter turnout with election cycles and how they determined where they were going to put extra machines.
Correct. We keep a running tally of the number of voters per machine. And so we have that ratio, and we use that ratio to identify those precincts or that could use an extra help in trying to reduce that ratio, where we do have an excess of voters. The last item would be the setup and coding of test decks. This is a process that goes on with every election in terms of, again, setting up the logic, the accuracy, and setting up the ballot itself. So this will be both for the primary and the general election. And it will assist those individuals in that department to set up our ballots and to make sure that they go through and carry us through not only from the setup of the ballot, but through our pre-lat testing as well and beyond for both the primary and general elections. That's it.
Any questions for Greg? Okay. All right. So we will go back. And we will open it up for any public comment as it relates to items on the agenda.
Darla Byerly, Warrington Township. I won't need 3 minutes, so please don't interrupt me at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Good morning, Commissioners. I'm here today to oppose agenda item 12 through 15. I've gone on record multiple times and given you a myriad of reasons to not move forward with the build-out of the urban wireless program, including actual readings taken from the corner of the YMCA showing that there is no lack of coverage. And yet, here we are. I'm still opposing, you're still moving forward. You are government. Your job is to govern at the consent of the governed. Our system is supposed to be a government of the people, by the people, for the people. You actually swore an oath to that. This looks far more like government that serves industry and your unconstitutional public-private partnerships. As far as the wireless radiation build-out goes, especially on the city schools and the Children's Home of York, you know we do not consent. As for all things Dominion, you know how the people feel because we've already spoken on this so many times. We are the people that you depend on to get you elected and reelected, the people who collect signatures for your petitions, the people who knock doors for you, the people who are actually engaged and participate in the election process, the people who pay attention, do their research and due diligence, work the polls, and can't be placated by inside stakeholders or bullied by media with their cheap name-calling because that's all they've got. We know these systems are not secure and they're easily hackable, and we have zero trust in them. These are our elections and we do not consent. We advocate for simplicity, not the latest pricey technology. We advocate for smaller precincts with same-day hand counting of the ballots. Flushing big money down a broken toilet won't fix the broken toilet. Unfortunately, I don't believe you have the courage to simplify the system. The more complicated it is, the easier it is to cover up the corruption and point the finger elsewhere. If you really want transparency, just say no to the money and simplify the process. We need to go back in order to go forward. Will you be brave and actually listen to your base, the people who put you in your seats up there? Or will you push through with your agenda? Will you be like so many of our so-called conservative public servants who love to just do it and apologize later? We were promised that this administration would be different, but so far all I see is more business as usual. And actually, I would argue that things are getting worse, not better. The bottom line is, it's all connected. The more you build out the wireless radiation, the more hackable and corruptible our elections and all our systems will be.
Any other public comment?
Laura Basso, Fairview Township. I just want to tell you that I oppose items numbers 12 to 15. My team and I have repeatedly told you that the wireless deployment is not a service. It is not going to improve connectivity. It is only going to bring unwarranted surveillance to the people. I do not consent. It is pollution. Please do not build out the wireless any further. Thank you.
Klein, Dover Township. I too want to address 13, 14, and 15. Once again, this company known as Dominion is being given tens of thousands of dollars. And I understand we have the contract, you purchase the machines, and we have all these annual contracts for technical services and software updates and all this, and we have to have the equipment to put into the machines. But here again, we asked you not to go with this. It's a money pit, and if last month you approved over $550,000, $550-some thousand to go into these. This month it's another 250-some. So here we are, you know, that's a lot of people that could have been hired to do these jobs. And I know you think, well, we need to do it quicker, we need to do it. And I appreciate all that, but at the same time, we have a lot of people that are still not trusting the system. So I would like maybe to see us hand count a couple ballots, a couple precincts that night, just the smaller ones. Give them a shot at it so that they can, because I know there are judges that would do that, but that's not something that we've seen happen yet. So as we are not convinced that Dominion is in our best interest, is what I want to say. You guys are supposed to be, the elections board is supposed to be conducting our elections. And when we hire someone to come in and run our elections, it's not being the oversight is not there because I don't know. I'm not technical. I will admit, I don't know what these machines are doing, but I don't think you guys know either. You're relying on their expertise. They're coming from out of state, coming in here, telling us this is how we need to do it, and we trust them. Are we really that naive to say Dominion, No Inc., Rumbeck, they're all on our side, trying to make sure our systems are, or are they just, hey, we can get them a contract, we can get them a software contract, we can get them technical support, to bring in our guys for all the testing and all this. And it's just a money pit that they continue to hold us, you know, at will then, because we've signed these contracts. So I just would like us to start doing our job. As we do these, as you come up with ways of hand counting and looking over the way we do things, the procedures, that you would consider using more people, more volunteers, more employees. I mean, like I said, you just the contracts for Dominion alone would be millions of dollars that could go to salaries for part-time people to help with them. And I believe if you really wanted, people would step forward to help. So I would appreciate, you know, just hold off on sending them money. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jackie Boylehart. I am a licensed attorney here in Pennsylvania, as well as Houston, Texas, which is my primary area of practice in estate planning. I grew up in Red Lion, Pennsylvania, and I really appreciate Ms. Virginia Schultz. She has come to my house multiple times, and I really admire her vigor for citizen participation. And so with that said, she invited me here today. And I want to say one thing from what I've gathered here, just very briefly. You know, I'm 37 years old, and I grew up with technology, and technology is great. I know every single social media platform. I use AI in my work all the time, and there are some things that can only be assessed through human intuition and not technology. So the remainder of my time, I will cede to Ms. Virginia Schultz.
I didn't get the municipality you live with.
Oh, I'm sorry, Windsor Township.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Virginia Schultz, York Township. Thank you for the opportunity for public comment. We need election borders. We have the right to a constitutional election. As President George Washington prayed, and we heard these words, for justice. Knocking on doors, as I've said before, we hear the comment. People are not confident that our election machines are unhackable, that they're giving true results. The process is flawed. We need election borders. We need hand counts. Gold standards, paper ballot, hand counted. France did this, Argentina did it. Other countries have done it. I did the research, and their method is so simple, and it's by their law, and they have the results. Nothing is revealed before 8 p.m. in France, Paris time, which is the time throughout the country. Nothing is revealed before that. Nothing, not even an estimate is given. And a hand count is completed. Within 3 hours, they have the results. I'd like to propose a hand count, a staff of hand counters for York County. We have 161 precincts. Let's pay 5 people for each precinct. 161 precincts. Let's pay them well. Let's say we'll pay them $200 for 6 hours. It's not going to take 6 hours, but we'll say that, 6 hours. So that would be $161,000, right? If we pay 5 people $200. So we have $161,000. $161,000. How much have you proposed to disperse in the last 2 meetings? What is proposed? Well, first of all, let's get this number. This is how much money to pay 805 people to do the election, do the hand count. You already have agreed to spend
30-second warning.
You've already agreed to spend $563,050 in the last meeting. Today, with all the things that were already mentioned, it's on the agenda, you want to spend another $140,357, comes to a grand total of $703,407. If we released some of our tech people, we'd be able to pay that, so that we can have election borders, constitutional election.
Bill Smith from Heidelberg Township. I wasn't planning on speaking, but after hearing all these other people here, I do concur with them, especially about the voting machines. With all this money being, I didn't realize how much money we're spending on these voting machines. I think that money could be better spent inside our community, hand counting ballots and doing things like this. Let's keep the money in the county instead of giving it out. That's my comment.
Anyone else?
Morning, Martha Gunder, North Hopewell Township. I am just here to express my disapproval of the county continuing to do business with Dominion Voting Systems due to the fact that Dominion has massive defamation lawsuits going on right now against any conservative media. One American News, Newsmax, and Fox, who settled unexpectedly. Why does Dominion suppress criticism and examination so vehemently as to try and shut down media in this country? They discourage the free expression of ideas, and they encourage censorship. I completely oppose any continued relationship with Dominion and would ask the commissioners to, I realize it's too late at this point right now for the next election, but we need to look at other systems that people trust. Right or wrong, whatever has, maybe they've done nothing, maybe they have, but people don't trust them. And when you don't trust your voting systems and your election systems, we're talking about the bedrock foundations of our democracy, of our constitutional republic. People do not trust them. We need another system, a better system. Thank you.
Any other comment related to agenda items? I just want to be sensitive that if someone has a comment for items other than the ones that have been talked about, I at least want to give them an opportunity. So if somebody wants to speak about other items that have not been spoken about, I just want to make sure they have an opportunity to do so.
My name is Kathy Gilbert, and I'm from Windsor Township. I don't know many of you. I'm very new at this whole thing, but I have knocked some doors for some of you, and I concur that the general group of people that I've talked to do not want the Dominion voting machines. They don't want any voting machines. They want hand count. I would just like to say that, not knowing you, but knowing reputation-wise some of you, I don't think any of you would, if you knew there was a burglar in the neighborhood, that you would unlock your door, crack your door, and go about your business as usual. That's what Dominion is. Inviting these machines in, you're opening the door for burglary, for fraud. You can't expect to invite that sort of thing in and not pay a price for it. You wouldn't do that to your home, so please don't do it to our state, to our county. Proverbs says, there is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is death. I don't want the death of our Constitution, of our rights, and things taken away from us. The Bible also says there are two kinds of wisdom. There is earthly wisdom and heavenly wisdom. I would ask you all as elected officials to please consider carefully throwing any more money at these machines. Please use heavenly wisdom carefully. I think your people that you represent would be okay with drawing a line and saying, okay, this money was spent maybe not the way it should have been. We're just not giving any more. We're going to draw a line here. So please, just in your decision, use heavenly wisdom. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your service.
Any other comments? Okay, we'll move on to the consent. Oh,
My name is Karen Powers, and I'm in Springfield Township, and I recognize searched you on the ballot. And I waited because I didn't want to make sure that any other person that had a comment on any other issue wasn't silenced. So I wanted to show that appreciation. I did not come here to comment today. I realized that this was on the agenda, and I am commenting about Dominion. I feel that knowing the controversy, knowing that something has happened, they're in trial in Georgia. Georgia, actually, they had a demonstration on how they were hacked in the trial. Not sure where that's going yet, but we'll see. But it's our responsibility to learn from our mistakes. We need to not just proceed because it's the in thing to do. Dominion is under a cloud. There are many counties in the United States that are going to hand counting. There are countries that do hand counting. And for us to not at least do more investigation where we're proceeding with a company that clearly has a cloud over their head, it makes us not look wise. So I thank you very much for your attention. I'm hoping that anybody else that wants to say something will stand up and say something. But please use good judgment and listen to what's going on throughout the country. They're going to hand counting. Other countries are hand counting, and Dominion is damaged. It's damaged goods.
any other comment? Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda items for the Office of Children, Youth, and Families.
Second?
We didn't give Claire an opportunity to talk, so is there anything you wanted to say about these? Okay.
So there's a lot on the agenda, but it's the routine subsidy agreements for families, to support families who are adopting kiddos. And then the remaining service provider agreements are adjustments and reimbursement for foster care, kinship, treatment, and transportation services.
Okay. Any questions for Claire? All right. Hearing none, if I can have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. On to new business.
I'll make a motion to approve items 1 through 18.
I'd like to make an amendment to the motion that we could just pull out item 9 for a separate vote.
Okay, so if I could have a motion to amend the motion, including removing number 9.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. And we'll go down to, number 9. If I could have a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between the County of York and the York County Convention and Visitors Bureau for a 3-year term effective February 7th, 2024.
So moved.
I'll second that motion. Any discussion?
I'd just like to say, if I look a little inconsistent here, as I said before, I've been on the board of the CVB Explore York. Previously, I'm not on the board now for about 16 years, and we've had an agreement in there with the CVB about providing some funding to tourist destinations and tourist promotion organizations here in York County. And one of the organizations is not on the CVB MOU now for funding for 3 more years, And that is the only reason that I'd ask that we'd have this vote so I can make my vote known to the public.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
Motion carries.
Okay.
Okay, there was an executive session held on February 14th, 2024 for the matters of discussing pending litigation. Move on to other business. We are joined by many wonderful colleagues from the YWCA of York today, we have a proclamation in recognition of Teen Dating Violence and Awareness Prevention Month. And I believe Ms. Joni Wolf is going to speak after Commissioner Burford reads the proclamation. I guess I should pull up here.
I have a proclamation here for Teen Dating Violence Awareness Prevention Month. Whereas teen dating violence, also known as dating abuse, is a serious and growing problem throughout Pennsylvania. Whereas teen dating violence intervention and prevention programs can help to ensure a positive school climate and safe learning environment for all youth ages 12 to 24. And whereas education and outreach programs to community members addressing warning signs of teen dating violence among youth before behaviors escalate and protect the safety targeted youth. And whereas, according to the American Psychological Association, 1 in 3 teens ages 14 through 20 have experienced dating abuse, and about the same number say they have committed dating abuse themselves. And whereas teen dating violence has been linked to other forms of violence and aggression against peers, including bullying, sexual harassment, sexual violence, and physical violence. And whereas nearly half of students who experience dating violence have experienced that same of the abuse took place on school grounds. And whereas youth who are survivors in high school are higher risk for victimization during college, and adolescent perpetrators of dating violence are more likely to abuse their intimate partners as adults. Now therefore, be it resolved that York County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim February 2024 as Teen Dating Violence Awareness and Prevention Month, and encourage all citizens to diligently work toward the elimination of dating violence. Given this day in York, in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, on the 21st day of February, in the year of our Lord, 2024, signed by the Board of Commissioners.
So Joni, did you want to share a few words?
Thank you, Commissioners, for having us here today and giving us this opportunity to speak. We really appreciate all the support you have shown our organization throughout the years. So February marks Teen Dating Violence and Prevention Awareness Month. It's a nationwide initiative aimed at uniting teens and their allies to shed light on the prevalence of dating violence. As you've read here, statistics reveal that dating violence is far more common than often perceived, particularly among adolescents and young adults. Our research indicates that 1 in 3 teens will encounter physical, sexual, or emotional abuse from a romantic partner before reaching adulthood. And furthermore, nearly half of our U.S. college women report experiencing violent or abusive behaviors in their dating relationships. As you're aware, YWCA York is York County's provider of free and confidential, comprehensive services to those impacted by violence in our community. And we have an expertise in working with victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, and human trafficking. We also provide prevention education to our youth in the community by giving them the support, information, and resources, and empowering them to use their voices to stand up against violence. Throughout Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, YWCA York is actively engaged in various awareness months or awareness activities tailored towards youth. We are leveraging loveisrespect.org, which is a social media campaign, which is a project of the National Domestic Violence Hotline. which offers round-the-clock support and advocacy to individuals aged 13 to 26 facing concerns about their romantic relationships. We also, as an entire organization, on February 6th, participated in Wear Orange Day, and this is an annual event aimed at raising awareness about dating violence. We shared all of our pictures on our social media, and our entire organization was dressed in orange, and it was a really incredible visualization that showed that we are really amplifying the message that everyone deserves a healthy relationship. We are also conducting training sessions for our QUAP students in teen advocacy. QUAP, which is a program which focuses on 3 main areas of academic achievement, community service, and personal growth through one-on-one as well as group mentoring. And this teen advocacy program will help equip these students with the necessary information, resources, and skills to provide support to friends who disclose abuse. So thank you so much for proclaiming it Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, and thank you for the continued support for our organization.
The only other piece of other business that I have, I just wanted to publicly acknowledge our Controller Bauer and his staff, at least for the past 4 years. They've been recognized by the Government Finance Officers Association for their excellence in financial reporting. So they've received that recognition again and a certificate of achievement. So I want to thank Controller Bauer and his staff for all that they do to ensure our financial records are in good order. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome very much. Okay, I will open it up for any additional public comment.
Virginia Shorts, York Township. Thank you for the privilege of addressing the concerns again. The fact that our election process is without borders. We have the right to a constitutional election, right to justice. Our coin says, "In God we trust." We have a constitution based on the fact that God actually set up borders. He has election systems. We need a secure one where the people have their rights retained rather than destroyed with money and machines that we already know are corrupted. I've seen so many human errors, but I'm not going to mention them here, things that I saw in the election office. Were those things corrected? We don't know, but we can eliminate a lot of them if we have paper ballots and hand counting. Here are a few of the risks that we have with the machines. Well, first of all, the voters don't have confidence in them. There's the potential for fraud and internet interference, widening of these insecurities, people dropping out from voting. All these new products inspire, and in the more complicated and increased risk of error. If we would utilize 5 people at each precinct, what could we have? Well, not only would we be saving thousands and tens of thousands, $100,000, but the voting interest would increase. We would have what we need, what we have as a right to knowingly vote with the fact that it's got to be right. Please, you've already made a decision to pass and waste this amount of money. How much do we want to waste? How much do we want to waste? Well, we could invest in in some people to be there to do a hand count, proper training, and the protocols already developed. This would be investment. This would be investment. How much do we want to invest? Time. For constitutional elections?
Any other public comment? Okay, if I could have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned, and we will move on to salary board.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the February 7th, 2024 salary board meeting as submitted.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Open up for any public comment relating to agenda items.
Angie Klein from Dover Township. I'm not sure if this is the time to say this, but I really appreciate Children, Youth, and Family Services. But at the same time, are you aware that they have a policy when a family is having a crisis, that they have a policy to dissuade the parents from contacting or having an attorney involved? It has come to my attention through numerous people that if a family is in crisis and they asked to call their attorney, that CYF will say it's going to cause you more trouble to have an attorney than it will if you just let us handle it. And that is not right, and I would ask you to look into that as we are paying their salaries, and that budget keeps exploding, and a lot of their time is put in on fighting parents who should be able to be reunited with their families. Thank you.
So any other public comment specific to agenda items on the salary board? Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 4.
I make a motion to approve the positions, salaries, hours of work, and fringe benefits as provided by existing collective bargaining agreements or as set forth in the York County Employee Handbook or York County Policy Manual for the following departments and row offices as stated below, with no additional benefits or concessions unless otherwise noted, and are as listed in the agenda.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There were no executive sessions since our last meeting. I will open it up for any other additional public comment. If I could have a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned, and we'll move on to salary board.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting held on January 17th, 2024, as submitted.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'll open it up to public comment for agenda items. On to new business.
I make a motion to include the following vested individual on the monthly annuity payment list as listed below. Douglas L. Ash.
That's it.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I make a motion to include the following individuals on the monthly annuity payment list as listed below. Becky K. Faust, Register of Wills. John E. Gaynor, Conflict Counsel. David J. Quickle, Drug and Alcohol. Stacy M. Sheffer, DJ Office Staff. Ellen Tybold, Aging.
I'll second the motion.
Ann E. Vaughn, MHIDD. Carol L. Whitehurst, Children and Youth.
I will second the completed motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There were no executive sessions since our last meeting. I open it up again for any public comment. If I could have a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, we are adjourned, and if the folks from the Y want to get a photo, we can do that now.